while you are traveling. It's vaguely late in the day, probably approaching sunset, and it's a questionable time whether you all can um, make your way back to Mbala tonight, or whether you should set down to camp on the plateau just in the jungle up here. And again, that's when we'll have you kind of um, crossing paths with Kriv.
Just for clarification for my sake, can you just trigger on the map where we're at about?
So Mumbala, yep, is kind of that northwestern area, and it's just a plateau in that region of mountains.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Oh, Mara, I also wanted to ask before we had left, because I think when we had first come into through that fissure, we had seen like some like old bits and kind of detritus uh in the Terrafolk cavern. Um, I wasn't sure if that was anything like if we had poked around in there, if would have actually found anything, or is it just kind of old junk and stuff.
Roll an investigation.
Nope.
Whole lot of junk. Now, realistically, that was meant to be another sign of all of the bones, um, predominantly humanoid or predominantly human, and just kind of a collection of them. Uh, More to show that they kind of ignored the back of that cavern with the ability to fly. It didn't even like register on their radar to kind of like continue investigating, because you will remember like the two of you kind of like had to really force your bodies into that location. Anybody with any level of oh man, I can't think of the fear of tight spaces, but anybody who really like,
Claustrophobia.
yeah, anybody with claustrophobia would have severely panicked in a situation like that. And it was kind of meant to be a sign that, one, those creatures are very large. Um, just size wise, they may have never been able to get through there, but they certainly never really investigated that there was effectively like an entrance from the top of the plateau.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. I think I decided Jarek has some a mild claustrophobia, not like completely
I
debilitating,
feel
but
like that investigation roll was about what you rolled when you first crawled into it.
I just added that to my flaws.
So just like a quick update for you as well, Rich, I would say again, like, depending on where you kind of like have drawn yourself from, historically, I think I actually cut off the flaming sword section, but northeast of Point Nyanzaru, there's uh shit, Fort Belorian, which is where the flaming fists are out of. The
Okay.
Zentarum are just kind of searching this area, and then the different locations of the Order of the Gauntlet are the Camp Righteousness and Camp Vengeance. And then, obviously, if you're going for just like the adventure background, which we will soon see, Point Nyanzaru is kind of like the central location, um, where pretty much everybody comes out of.
Sounds good. All right, thank you.
So which creatures were in the cave that you saw? I didn't quite follow that part.
Oh, it's like the
More
Terrafolk. They're like the kind of like flying lizards that we had fought a couple times. I think going through the forest, like the big ones.
Gotcha.
I think one of them at one point like actually picked up Island and was flying off those things.
Yeah, I recall that. So
But
was
they
the cave was like an entrance to another place or a way down from the peninsula? I didn't understand how the cave factored in.
yeah, so it's like their roost kind of.
Oh, got it.
And
on the
we like
side of the cliff of the plateau.
yeah, but I think we eventually found like a fissure that kind of led in a different way. Because it would have been if we had gone down the cliff itself, it would have been a very tough to climb down, especially with things attacking us. So I think it was Taryn found a kind of like a separate entrance that we ended up kind of squeezing through, and that's how we got in.
Got it. Cool.
But I think we were fairly beat up after the fight. So I think if as we're traveling back through the forest, Jarek would, as much as he wants to get back to Mbala, he thinks maybe they should try to get a bit of rest before and then get back in the morning to kind of pick up back where we were leaving off.
Yeah, Terran would not put up much of a fight against that. He is pretty much beat up.
Yeah, so then if Crib wants to kind of um, come by as we're setting up camp, maybe that would be a good kind of introduction.
Yeah, I think between the light that you all would have, that would kind of be his signal that in a land of desolation, it would be kind of the first bit of civilization that you will see in a long time.
Okay, so you all have been setting up camp. You have your fire kind of assembled here, right? Um, Approaching you in rather worn, dirty armor uh, is about a 6.5 foot gold dragonborn. Approaching you, kind of arms raised, weapon shielded, a shield attached to his back. Uh, uh, Hello there. Um, yes, you are people. Uh, I've been lost to these plains for so long. I haven't seen people in what feels like weeks or months. I don't know. The time moves quickly. Uh, Hello.
Hello there. And yeah, I think some folk at home might argue about me being people, but I can consider us people.
Describe what Terran looks like.
Oh yeah, and the man who just spoke up Terran, he is, let's see so I say this right. He is a gnome. Oh no, I said it wrong. A
Oh, you got that.
halfling. He's a
Oh,
halfling.
okay, I thought you were going for the translation.
But yeah, he's a pretty average looking halfling, standing around 3 feet, skinny. Not much stands out about him. He has gray eyes, brown hair, bit of a trimmed beard, but starting to get more wildly grown by now. Some lightly tanned skin. He's wearing a linen shirt, some leather armor over that, pants and leather straps around his feet. And on his belt, you can see a short sword and a dagger. And he has a backpack, which would probably be on the ground by now. And on that backpack is also a short bow.
Yeah, so as Kriv calls out, Jarek would kind of like his initial immediate reaction would kind of like turn quickly and kind of have a hand go to his one of his blades. He's got a scimitar and a short sword on his hip, but kind of after hearing the thing and kind of seeing Crib's situation and kind of getting the sense that here's another kind of person who's been beat up by the forest, he would relax a bit, um, and he would call out, "Hail! What's your name, friend?"
I am Kriv, the Order of the Gauntlet. I was sent with a party to come search for a scouting mission, of course, to find anything related to this undead menace in the region. And well, my party got split, and my comrades have more than likely been killed or worse. And I'm by myself. I'm just trying to find my way.
Jarek would nod, and again at the mention of the Order of the Gauntlet, he would seem to kind of relax a bit more because they've also had some run-ins with them. And so you would see a Jarek's a human man about 6 feet tall, kind of short black hair, kind of beard and goatee. It's kind of been getting a bit. She typically tends to keep it short, but it's been starting to get a bit shaggier. He's a pretty well built guy. He's wearing studded leather, a lot of kind of dirt and grime and muck, kind of all over him. He's got in addition to the swords that you saw, he's got what looks like a light crossbow kind of strung over his back. Um, yeah, I guess that'd be kind of it, mostly for the physical description. And he would invite Kriv to kind of share their camp.
Well met, Kriv. Says Island. Island's a skinny, studious fellow with a pair of daggers, a short bow, studded leather. Sort of looks at you inquisitively and asks, "Who's your commander with the Order of the Gauntlet?"
That's a really good question. Um, um, God damn it.
Give me a second. I'll grab his name,
Thank
but it
you.
won't surprise them.
I think it was
Who
Breakbone, right? I can do
sounds
it.
right?
Yeah, it was. When did
I fall under the command of Breakbone.
he sent you out on a mission and lost the party and no one came for you?
This, as so it would seem, or perhaps the rescue party themselves were lost as well. It is unknown to me.
Well, we may be the rescue party, actually. Welcome.
As so that would seem. Thank you so much. And he kind of comes in, sits down. He has no things. He just has his sword, his shield, his armor, and just kind of slumps down. This is the first time I've had a chance to sit amongst others in days, weeks. It's possible to tell.
Well, I'm glad we found you, or you found us. Here, have something to eat. And Jarek would. I believe we had some. Still have some like terrafolk meat, but if not, he'd hand him some rations just to kind of uh, maybe tide him over. And he
I
would.
And he kind of like, as you extend, he kind of like grabs it really quick and like really just like chows down on it.
I definitely think you have terrafolk meat. I think you guys just got a few from the actual tunnels that you just cleared out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So it may even be fresher than you were thinking.
Yeah. So Jarek would um, kind of seeing that he would um, start kind of having a bit of a meal himself. He would kind of warn Kriv that he's glad they um, he makes the comment about sitting. He's like, I'm again glad we found each other, but well, I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but we'll need to keep our guard up. This jungle is far from friendly, especially at night.
Indeed, indeed. What I am willing and able to fight as needed, of course.
Well, another blade is always welcome.
And can you do anything besides fight with your blade? Any magic?
I am a soldier true and true, but of course, with me being who I am, I have some abilities. Yes.
Yeah, no, I've read about that, and I'm certainly interested to see. I can't wait to see how this develops.
So perhaps we want to get back to the village. Really, as close to dawn as possible. Perhaps we should go ahead and set a watch and try and call it an early night.
If if I could please take the last watch.
I can, see no problem with that. I can take the first.
As soon as you say that, you say, "Hey, Criv goes, oh, good," and he just kind of lays down, places his head on whatever rock or log is nearby, and immediately passes out.
Can only imagine the thunk of a dragonborn relaxing.
So, Island, Taryn, who wants to take second?
Oh, I'll take second. You wake me up, right?
I will. Yeah.
Yep. I'll take third. I can wake up the poor sleepy dragonborn over there later.
And I think Jarek might also. No, he'll wait. Never mind.
So when you are ready, let me get a perception check from you. So while you are kind of bedding down, or rather, while everybody else is bedding down, and you're kind of taking your first few moments just to yourself, you're seeing signs that like Mbala is actually like at the cloud level, and that like you're almost like seeing just like little bits of mist kind of around you, but the jungle is like clearer than you've ever seen above you, despite the fact that you hear like torrential downpours right now. And just at first, it's kind of off putting in that it is like relaxing to hear. But there's definitely a sense where you're still quite on guard and quite prepared for whatever kind of ill might come about here. And while you are on your watch, you start to hear sounds of ticking or clicking, and it tells you something is nearby. It's not entirely clear what you are to expect, um, but you are very quickly kind of given like an initial idea that there's something close by. It seems small, doesn't have heavy footprints, but there's like something kind of like wandering around the forest near you right now.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask if it sounded like if it was kind of approaching us, but I think you said it kind of just seems like it's moving around, not doesn't I don't get the sense it's directly headed for the camp, right?
Um, at present, it's more that you're hearing it. Um, Trying to determine where it's going. It's moving erratically, so maybe you can't quite tell, but you do know that it's close by.
Okay. So I'm going to uh not going to wake anyone else at the moment, but I'm going to kind of try and keep my focus on this thing um during the remainder of my watch.
Gotcha. So as a few minutes kind of go by, you're going to eventually see about like a foot off of the ground the shine of eyes kind of like peeking out of the bushes. And there's just two eyes. Again, they're about a foot above the actual ground and probably about like 3 or 4 inches apart. Um, and you kind of hear like the clicking is coming from the ground beneath this creature, almost like it's tapping claws against stone. And it's maybe like 10 feet away from you.
Okay, so I feel like Jarek would kind of on his watch, he would have been keeping a bit of kind of like the terrafolk meat kind of near him to snack on, like keep his energy up while he's on watch. Um, so he might like take a little chunk of it and uh, toss it towards the maybe not right like a little to try and tossing it like a little to the side of the creature, maybe to see if he can get a better look at it if it goes for the meat.
Gotcha. So you kind of want to draw it out and then to the side a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully to see maybe like if it comes out, if it like kind of comes out of the forest, so we can get a better look at what this thing is.
Um, Let me get a persuasion from you. As you throw the meat out, you see as this creature's head kind of like tilts as the eyes go vertical one way and then another, and then it just kind of like disappears into the brush again.
Okay. Yeah, so kind of seems maybe thinking maybe it's kind of skittish. He that kind of puts Jericho almost a little more at ease, but he'll still obviously try and kind of keep an eye out for the remainder of his watch, see if the thing returns or if he hears other similar clicking or other sounds.
So roll another perception for me. As you kind of like sit back on your watch and continue to listen, the noises don't really go away, but they seem to be almost like coming close and then moving away, coming close, moving away, as if they're kind of testing the perimeter of where the fire is until eventually you're going to see is two creatures almost simultaneously are going to leap through the brush onto that little bit of meat that you threw down, and you'll see that they're um, not necessarily like small creatures, but for the dinosaurs that you have seen inside of Chalt, they're not large. But they're probably approximately the size of, say, like your torso, as far as like their main body mass, and their tail is probably about as long. But if you went like point to point, they're probably about the height of like a short human. Um, by the height of a short human, I mean like they're still almost perpendicular to the ground. Like they're very much raptors.
Okay. He might seeing them going after this and uh think that they're obviously mediators now. There's two of them, and kind of hearing them kind of approaching and leaving, and he might try to. Um, he would maybe grab another chunk of the meat and toss it kind of farther away, like away from their camp, maybe to try to get them to back off. Um, he doesn't want to, given kind of how tired and beat up everyone is, he's trying to avoid having to wake anybody if he can, but obviously he's a little concerned about if these creatures decide they get a little bolder. So he might try. He's gonna try and uh, by throwing the meat, trying to get them to maybe head off. So kind of throw it farther into the forest jungle.
Gotcha. So you can do a persuasion with advantage here. As you throw like a larger chunk, you're going to hear like skittering from kind of like all sides of your camp, as like these two creatures are in front of you, and you now get a sense that there were creatures both to the right and to the left of them that had not revealed themselves. But you're going to hear is like all of these creatures kind of run off in that direction of the meat. And then you said you were going to Wake Island.
I think yes, Island's going to take second watch, and when he goes to
So
wake him, he would relay all this kind of what he saw during his watch.
yeah, like the rest of your watch will go with a little bit more kind of calm to it, but you definitely understand that those creatures are close. So when you are ready, Island, can you roll a perception for me?
Got my little pile of meat standing by.
So, with the thought of more dinosaurs on hand, Island, you definitely keep a solid watch, keeping yourself attentive. And at times you hear some of these sounds that perhaps Jarek was speaking about. But in the long run, from what you can tell, this area of jungle seems at least a good bit more calm and not as eerie as like the jungle floor. Being up on the plateau seems on some level a little bit safer. The night seems a little bit calmer. But when you are ready, that kind of hour is going to flow by. Feeling pretty confident, you can roll another perception. Yeah, I think you'll kind of have some of those same feelings where you're hearing the sounds of the rain and you've got the sky above you. You're in an ancient area. This is a level of bliss for you, and your watch goes the same way, troubleless. So when you are ready, I believe you'll be waking Taryn.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll wake Taryn. I'll fill him in about our friends and give him the sack of meat and go back to sleep.
So when you are ready, Taryn, if you can give me a perception check. So, with the little bit of understanding from the others that there are kind of creatures around you here, you are kind of on your watch, and While Island has tales of it seems a little bit safer in the last few hours, you feel like you're hearing what they described. And it doesn't take you long to kind of start to recognize that these clicks are surrounding you again. And it gives you at least a little bit of understanding that there's some sort of pattern to how they're happening. um, you're not feeling terribly comfortable right now. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking throwing out a couple of pieces of meat, mm, not clumped together, but a bit spread apart.
Gotcha. So do another persuasion with advantage. So you hear the skitter from all around you as the clicks kind of move away into the different areas, and you kind of spend like every like 15 or 20 minutes just like hucking a piece of meat far off into the distance as far as you think you can, and hoping that you don't like hit a tree that rebounds it right back to you. But you feel pretty confident that you've gotten rid of them for now. um, when you are ready, let me get another perception from you. And kind of keeping up with a little bit of a regular um, act of kind of feeding these creatures. They seem to stay away from you, and they seem to stay away from the camp. But when you are ready, you can wake up Kriv.
Well, as I wake up, crib, I relay what Aiden told me. What's happened?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Hello,
oh,
Dragon Man.
is that time already?
Yeah. Sorry to break your sleep, but
Right, right, right. All right. What's the situation?
yeah, and I tell you about the skittering dinosaurs that's been around our camp.
Ah, well,
Don't
well,
worry, they seem I haven't attacked so far, so they're friendly enough. Just keep some of the meat handy to throw away.
yes, yes, yes. Okay. Yeah, yes. Of course, yes. And he kind of goes off to get himself kind of prepared. Kind of.
Oh, and before you go here, and Taran will hand him a ceramic jug filled with some kind of liquid. And I tell him, it's beer if you need to calm your nerves.
Ah, yes. Thank you. And you just start as soon as you like he like raises the jug to you, you kind of turn around to go, and he just starts chugging that shit.
Yeah, you can chug that. That's 4 gallons of beer. He can chug if he wants.
Yeah, I think you're going to notice as you chug, the beer never actually goes away for quite some time. So, how much is Kriv chugging?
He'll take a few gulps and go. It lets out a large belch. Tries to cover it as soon as he realizes it's going to be too loud, and, and he just settles it down next to him as he prepares his watch.
So, yeah, as you set it down, you'll see that the beer is still right up to the brim of that jug. But when you are ready, let me get a perception check from you. So, you're at kind of a weird sense here of you're calm because you're with people. You're tense because you know there are creatures around. And it's a weird balance to find yourself in. And perhaps you're resting a little bit too much with the actual ale. But as far as things goes for you, this is a really calm time. There doesn't seem to be nearly as much to worry about now as ever before, and you keep an eye out about, but there's nothing that's loud and immediate about what's happening. And you see kind of the first signs of like the glow of dawn kind of starting to shine like over the horizon of the trees. And you're relatively sure that you're nearing the end of this night. And when you were ready, let me get another perception from you. And as the sun rises, I think you'll start to see as everybody kind of starts to move and show signs of themselves being at that point of rest. And your night's going to kind of come to an end here with the dawn, everybody waking up, and apparently kept keeping these little dinosaurs at least away enough from the camp for that evening.
Well, good morning, friends. Uh, this, and he kind of holds up the jug, is a fantastic thing.
If I recall correctly, it is now empty.
And he's like, he goes to lift it. This is the fantastic. Well, he kind of puts it over end, and there's nothing. And go, huh. Well, it was a fantastic thing, and just kind of like cheers it back to like Taryn.
Until taking and be like, okay, you can certainly drink. I mean, it's been a couple of hours, but still, that's a lot. Okay.
Well, there'll be should be more where that came from tonight, so perhaps we'll have something to celebrate.
Oh yeah, that's my mistake. I guess it doesn't clear itself out. It would still have the ale in it. It would just stop producing more until you request it again.
Okay, this is a wonderful thing, and looks at it and sees there's still more beer in it, and passes it back to Taryn, and just moves on. We should be moving, should we not?
Yes, agreed. Best to get a move on quickly. Kind of as they begin traveling, Jarek and presumably with assistance from Island and Taryn would kind of relay to Kriv kind of the situation that they're returning to, and essentially going over the recap kind of in character at this point as they're traveling.
So while you are walking through the jungle here, you all have a kind of general option on how you want to proceed most of the way back if you're just trying to go kind of like along the actual like cliff face and kind of like wander back to the entrance of Mambala, or if you're just trying to actually hike like in a little bit more direct route. You pretty much know basically that you'll have to cross that river at some point here, and you're not far from like the actual ruins of Mimbala. But when you all are ready to proceed like that, let me just get a survival from you all, or even really just Island and Jarek. Yeah, so you all have no problem making your way back through Mimbala. Crossing the actual stream up top is a simple endeavor, taking a few moments to cross that, passing ropes between yourselves, and you can get everybody back over. When you arrive back at the edge of Mambala, you will once again see kind of ruins all around you. Um, you're close enough to the hut of Nanny Pu'Pu that you see her gardens that are around the hut, and you can see off in the distance like the only standing ruins, which are the actual stairs where Eku first collapsed. What do you all have in mind?
I imagine I can see Nanny Pu'Pu, huh, guys?
Yeah, I feel like we should probably get back there as fast as possible. Don't want to leave Eku alone for
Mr.
too long.
Do you promise a reward?
She said she could help revive Echo if we were to deal with the Terra folk, but just be wary. I get to um, have a strange feeling around her. I'm not sure we can trust her. But
Well, that seems wise.
So while you all are heading off to the hut, you will eventually see her outside of the hut at kind of one of her herb gardens. And when you all kind of approach her, she'll look off to you all. Oh, you've returned. How delightful. Ah, how did everything go?
just add a character real quick. Like she doesn't actually look like that token. So that was a thing with Dirt last session. So
She looks like a little old lady who has a bunch of like kind of dinosaur teeth in a necklace around her, but is otherwise hunched over.
and she's like really thin, right? I think.
Yeah, she is like there's no meat on her bones, and that was part of what she said was the reason that they must never have taken her, was that she wasn't even worth the meal. But yeah, she's very much kind of like a hunched over old little woman who doesn't really have like the musculature to really stand herself up. But she kind of just like waddles from place to place. And as she sees you all, she'll kind of like, still with her back kind of hunched over, she almost like looks up with her head kind of tilted to one side and just kind of greets you all back.
We've uh we've cleared out the Terrafolk roost as requested.
How
How
delightful of you.
how fares Eku in our absence?
I believe she'll be recovering well. I think she's doing quite well. And she's just gonna kind of like turn towards the door at least a little bit. And I believe I hear her moving within. Um, you? How are you feeling? And just from within the hut, you're going to hear, I feel much better. I'm not feeling entirely well, though. Yes, see, she's feeling better. It's a start.
Well, thank you, and we'd like to speak with her.
She really does need her rest. I don't believe now is the best time to bother someone who is so ill.
I promise we'll be brief. We did have a deal after all. Kind of
Nanny
Garrett would kind of
Poo-Poo, I watched her. I kept her safe. She is healthy. That was our deal. The Terra folk for her safety.
Yeah, and as Jarek kind of mentions the deal, he would almost kind of like involuntarily like kind of be clenching and unclenching his hand. Um were kind of like the he had made the cut to essentially like I guess almost like a blood oath, I guess. But it 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 would really put us at ease if we could at least check in on her quickly. I fear I must insist.
While you're asking, you'll hear from within the hut. I really am feeling well enough. Perhaps you could come back tomorrow and I'll be well enough to take visitors. See, even Eku agrees. She is well, but not healthy enough to see so many. Even Nanny Pu'Pu stays outside until she needs me.
Can I roll insight?
You can definitely insight check. So I mean, for a lot of reasons, there's sounds like she's taking care of somebody inside. It almost sounds like they have some sort of disease that you might want to stay away from, or just like the actual energy expenditure. But from what you can tell, how they're describing this seems up and up.
The Jarek would he would turn back towards the others and kind of what do you think? Kind of speaking quietly.
I may just be an outsider here, but it is clear to me that she is quite ill, and perhaps we shouldn't bother her much more.
I guess it's a improvement that she's woken up at least. But I don't feel comfortable leaving her alone with Nanny Pu'Pu any more than we already have. While we might not be able to visit her, maybe we could just camp outside. Don't have to go anywhere.
Jarek would nod at that, and he would agree that given what Kriv has said, and he's kind of put a little more at ease, but he is similarly wouldn't want to go too far, so he would agree with Taryn's idea to maybe camp nearby, maybe even within sight of the hut, or um, or spend the day kind of maybe. And I don't know how much more there is to kind of really investigate because most of the other things are kind of ruins. But yeah, the idea of essentially staying close.
So while you all are having this conversation, Nanny Pu'Pu just kind of like sits down, full lotus, in front of the door to her hut, and she's just starting to like pulls out a little mortar and pestle, and she's just grinding up some fresh herbs, and you all start to smell like the mint and basils and just like a fresh flowery meadow.
Nanny Poo Poo, what you brewing?
Just some healing herbs and maybe make some tea.
That's something you can teach me about. I'm not familiar with this jungle, but we certainly could use any kind of healing herbs that are around.
Nanny Pu'Pu has had apprentices in the past. It takes much time, but many herbs can certainly be found for those with skills. We grow many in my own garden.
Well, there's so much flora and fauna here that we've not seen before. Anything you care to share, we'd be happy to learn.
And for teaching you, what would you give to Nanny Pu'Pu?
I don't know. What does Nanny Pu'Pu need? We did the last task that you suggested and came right back. Is there anything else on your list?
Certainly things that one stuck on a plateau could use. And I can be of service as a teacher to you. But there are many things. Names that I have forgotten. Places that I have lost with time.
Nanny Pu'Pu, were you here when Eku was here last?
It has been a long time since their family has been here. Nanny Pu'Pu is not that old. Very old, yes. I saw the last of Mbalan taken by those creatures. But I was not here when the king and queen took their daughter's life.
And what could have caused the parents to take their daughter's life?
I'm not sure if you all went into all of the details around her as to what you found on the steps, but part of what you would overall gather is that that was a rise and fall of an empire, and that they were sacrificing things for blessings. And it eventually became they sacrificed their daughter.
Yeah, I don't think we, Larry. I don't think we mentioned that in the recap. But essentially, like Mara's saying, like there were like the bas reliefs and the hieroglyphs for showing kind of more and more sacrifices, like as kind of like as their like desperation grew and things became harder and harder, and they sacrificed more and more, and then until eventually they sacrificed their daughter. I think we got the idea that it was like a last gasp, desperate kind of thing that they were trying to maybe hold on to the last of their power or appease the gods or something to that effect.
Yeah,
Do
so
you,
like,
do you guys understand how Eku could be with us when she's been sacrificed by her parents?
well, so I'll do like kind of a recap of what those were. Like the base of that tower was effectively a recording of the times when the humans were working with the other species of this area, including the Aldani, the tiger folk, the terra folk, and the lizard folk. And when they started to ascend the stairs, that's when the humans were on top, and the other humanoids were all like bringing gifts to them, and that's kind of the ascent of the empire before you started to see that there were humans above other humans, and you were starting to lose the humanoid species. By the time all of the other humanoid species had been eradicated, you had the prince or the princess, king, and queen, and humans were bringing gifts to them. And then even like the humans were disappearing before it shows the ascent of Eku as a Coatl. Like her sacrifice was what turned her into a divine.
Yeah, looks like we lost Rich lost power. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut in there.
Oh no, you're good. I saw it at the same time.
Was he having a storm or something? Oh yeah, I see it. Okay, well, I'm caught up a little bit. I think I understand better now.
Well, how about let's take a break here and let's at least give it a few moments to see um, if Rich gets power back.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Cool.
Cool.
I'm back. I'm here. So.
Me too. Am I the only person that doesn't use Discord on my phone? I'm guessing that's how Rich is still typing, but doesn't have power in his house.
Yeah, it showed the emblem. I think anytime somebody has the green dot, that's just that they're on like a computer. I think it'll always show their phone if they're logged in on their phone. Otherwise, it may be in private messages that it shows them on the phone.
Yeah,
Oh,
hello, I'm back. And yeah, it's sorry.
the
If
green
it
dot.
shows like a phone icon, that's when they're on the phone.
Got it.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Rich is a role player, right? That's going to push our game. That's good.
Well, again, though, he's only like doing a one shot, so he's. I'm hopeful that like maybe he would be interested in attending on occasion, but he works in a hospital, so he basically started everything off with I have a crazy schedule.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd be. We've only been playing with him for an hour, but if you could even just be like a drop-in player, I'd be fine with that.
Well, we mostly kept dirt, right? Like he mostly this year. So that's great. More the merrier.
Yeah, at this point, I think we might have lost dirt a little more permanently.
Yeah, dirt is definitely gone. Marcus, I feel like, is just working on his house. So I'm still hopeful he'll recontinue things, but I feel like that's part of the holiday season.
I got confused. Sorry. I was thinking about Marcus.
Yeah, I use the actual icon for Nanny Pu'Pu, and um, he definitely zoomed in to like look really deep at the character instead of how I described her. And I was just like, there's a reason I describe her. Like, I'm sorry. Next time she'll have a cheery, fluffy picture because she can look like whatever she wants to look like.
Hence the current token for her.
So what do you guys want to do? You want to just like hang around, barge into Nanny Pu'Pu's house? Anybody have any ideas?
Another thing that you have missed that may be of value for you all to keep in mind. This is the one person who says that she can resurrect people.
Yeah, so essentially Jarek is like, even though he doesn't really trust her, he doesn't want to necessarily get on her bad side if they can avoid it. So that's why he likes Taryn's idea of kind of staying close, but maybe not trying to force our way in, at least not right now. And given that Kriv had kind of gotten the sense that, she Eku did seem to be kind of legitimately ill, and that maybe it does make sense to, like Nanny Poopa was saying, give it a day. Um, Derek would be more hesitant to try to force the issue. Is kind of why he backed off.
Well, I mostly want to see if I can buy a healer's kit from her. There's some sort of jungle equivalent. She needs things, we need things too. It's a shortage of things.
Was Dirt the person who was a herbalist, though? I feel like he had to be.
Yeah, I think so.
God, that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, but I guess we can hope that maybe his power will miraculously come back on and he can jump back in. But I guess at this point we kind of have to move forward.
So when we talked earlier about there being a temple stairs to the northeast, is that like nearby or is that miles away?
I feel like it's like a quarter mile or so.
It's nearby. That's great. So Nanny, Popo, I have a healer's kit, and I pull it out and I show it to her. But we're running low on supplies. Is there anything equivalent here in the jungle that we could find or buy from somebody? Sort of wonder if that's kind of what you're making.
I can replenish some of your supplies, others I do not have, and there will be limits to all things.
Well, we'd be so
But
grateful.
again, what could you offer Nanny Pu'Pu to help me?
Well, we certainly can bring things back that you need the next time we leave the plateau, but that's not so immediate. I think today we can take care of some tasks. I could spend some time in the garden. We have a little tiny bit of gold, if that matters to you.
Taryn will cut in. We have some honey, mayonnaise, oil, vinegar, things like that.
4 gallons of beer. Good point.
Hmm, what's more lasting?
Like gold and gems?
These things serve Nanny Pu'Pu not. I need things of a longer lasting value. Hmm.
Are you troubled by anything other than these terra folk? Has this village been? Are there other troubles we perhaps might assist with?
If they were to return, I would be troubled again, but I'm troubled by loneliness. Will you stay with Nanny Pu'Pu? Or maybe your friend, she could stay with me. We are the last of Mbalan.
Uh,
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
oh, okay. Time we just go. Sorry, Nanny Pu'Pu, but don't think we could stay for all that long. And I don't think Echo could either. We have some business to attend to out in the jungle.
Would you want to return to Port Nyanzaru with us?
Can tell you wouldn't be lonely out there. At least. Plenty of people around Port Nyanzaru.
Nanny Pu'Pu's birth in Mumbai. I think it would be best for I to expire here as well. And she's just going to kind of like peek into the door and kind of look inside. Your friend is sleeping. Why don't you come inside for a moment? And she's going to invite Eileen into the hut.
I'm going to try to get a read on my on what my friends think about that, and I'm curious if I have any insights whether she's going to eat me or something.
You can roll an insight check. She seems on the up and up that she's sees that Eku is sleeping and wants to have a private conversation, kind of.
All right, I'm going to go ahead into Nanny Pu'Pu's bedroom with her.
So
And
as
I
you
get a
walk
look at
into the
Eku.
hut, you'll see Eku is laid down on the kind of northwestern side of the hut. She's kind of below like a very like gossamer fabric that just kind of barely covers her body, and she has a little poultice laying across her forehead. And as you two kind of enter, you'll see as Nanny Pu'Pu kind of like reaches behind her to like put a finger to her lips, and she'll just kind of shh, and kind of looking back over at Eku. You need a medicine kit, and I require magic. What would you give of yourself for the power to heal your friend?
Well, I mean, I would help you with my sort of meager selection of magic I can perform.
Would you give it up? And you
Oh,
see as she just has like a wry smile on her face.
no, certainly not, Nanny Poo. I couldn't give up my magic. It comes from uh, my creator, my God. It's intrinsic. Isn't it the same for you?
My magic comes from the earth, from toil. If you separate yourself just a little, and the smile like returns to her face, from this god, I could give you much in return.
Well, I'm certainly intrigued, Nanny Poo. What does much entail for you? That would be more than saloon gives me each night when the moon rises.
What if I took the view of saloon from you, and I gave you healing to so desire?
Uh, yeah, I don't think I can trade my healing magic for a healing kit.
I will not take that magic. I will take Saloon. We'll never see her again. And I will give you the healing kit that you require in duplicate. And I will make you two potions that are strong in their ability to heal.
I'm sorry, Nanny Poo, but I can't do it. Saloon is my employer and my master and my inspiration. I can't let it all go for a few worldly items.
It is unfortunate. And there is little that you have that I need. And she's just gonna slide some things off of the table and kind of further away from you. We should leave. Go to sleep.
Indeed. Well, she looks like she's recovering, so thank you. I guess I'll head back outside.
So she'll walk back outside and kind of sit back in front of the hut.
So, gentlemen, I think today we should explore those stairs to the northeast.
Yeah, so Jarek would once they're back outside, he might ask Nanny Poo whether she knows about those steps, like if she do you know are those connected to the village? Were they part of Mbala?
All right, wait, I want to be clear that we're talking about the same steps here. Larry, what steps are you talking about?
The ones that are a quarter mile away.
So what are you looking for there? Because they've already explored them. And then I feel like Justin is talking about the ones that are northwest on the map.
Yeah, those are the ones I was referring to. Yeah, not the ones that we've already gone up.
And I was referring to the ones we haven't explored, so I just don't know where they are. So
Okay, yeah. So
charge
those
ahead.
are off of Mbalan and off to the northwest towards the mountains that are kind of just beyond view. That's where the steps are, and then the floating heart is kind of down in that direction.
So Jack, yeah, your question is the right one. Like, do we know anything about that place to the west?
I think we've only seen it. But I guess it would be given the distance, my question that doesn't really make as much sense.
I have never gone so far as to see, but there are definitely tales told of many lost areas in this land. There are great dangers that come from the dead that walk here. There are many things that are intriguing and dangerous.
Well, Island, the day is still relatively young. I imagine if we could try and get down there for a closer look before returning back here tonight.
That sounds right. Come back and see Eku maybe when she awakes. She looked great when I was in there.
Oh, so that's much farther away than I thought.
Yeah, those are definitely other places for you all to go, not necessarily places for you to go today.
Sorry, I got confused at the quarter mile thing, but then I remembered that was the other step. So ignore that. Ignore that last statement from Jarek.
Do you think you've all explored the Mambala completely at this point?
No, we barely scratch the surface of this place, I think.
I sort of think that's what we should do.
Yeah, we could explore more of the area. I think really so far we've only seen the hut and then the stairs. I think I'm not sure how much of the rest is kind of standing, but we could definitely kind of poke around.
So I don't want to either waste your time or ruin your fun, but this is pretty much all of Mambala. At this point, realistically, like you guys have like ruins or the stairs and the hut. That's really all that kind of stands that's still lasting here. Um, and Nanny Pu'Pu is the only living creature in this place. So there's a certain level of like you guys could go about your day exploring. But realistically, like if you are done speaking with Nanny Pu'Pu at present, I would more or less say we would move forward through kind of the night and into the next day.
Okay, that makes sense to me because I think but kind of like Karen Chris was saying, like we probably wouldn't want to go too far. So maybe we would just kind of, yeah, like you said, like spend the day exploring, not really find anything of interest, and then fast forward.
Yeah, like I don't know if you guys remember from last week, but the entire story of like the rise and fall of this civilization is all of my creation. Mumbala is literally Eku needs to go here, and Nanny Pu'Pu, this creepy old lady, is the only person who lives here. That's this entire thing. So you guys kind of have to just make that decision. Like, are you going to come to a point where you leave her behind, or are you going to come to a point where you don't trust her anymore and things kind of degrade?
Yeah, I think Jarek would be willing to give one more day, but the next morning he would be, I think, more insistent on trying to speak with Eku himself, or them then you know being allowed to see her and speak with her and kind of determine firsthand whether if she's doing okay and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm okay with staying another day, see if we see Echo tomorrow. But if we don't, maybe moving on. I mostly wanted to walk away so I could tell you how creepy that lady is. Just not do it in front of her.
And you would more than certainly have that amount of time.
So you wanna camp for the night here in Mambala and then see you to Echo in the morning?
Yeah, I think that's kind of the plan at this point. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I think
that's fine.
on some level, Jarek would at least gain a little bit more of an understanding of why your agreement was kind of a blood pack. But let me have all of you make a Arcana check. Yeah, I think by this point you all will fully understand that Nanny Pu'Pu is a hag, and what she deals in is taking things of value from you. So if you have something to offer, and you would give up something that maybe increases your suffering, maybe reduces your joy in life. There are many different things that she might want to take from you, and she can offer you great boons for. But in general, everything that you get from her is going to have a cost.
Yeah, Island. Would Island have shared kind of the conversation in the that happened in the hut, like what Nanny Poo Poo was offering, all that?
Yeah, in detail and sort of with some offense at the thought of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
so like
again, the
once
first
we
thing she asked for was your magic, like any magical spell kind of thing. And then the second thing she asked for when she named something was specifically you would never see Saloon again.
yeah, so I feel like that would give us definitely a big hint as to kind of what we might be dealing with, even if we don't specifically know her as a hag in character, but something like definitely off.
Yeah. So Echo's probably not safe, but Echo's a coatl, right? So maybe she is safe. Who knows?
But at the moment, she's very much defenseless. What with her sleeping and all.
Yes, I imagine we'd either, if Nanny Poo Poo isn't willing to let her leave of her own accord, we may have to bargain for her freedom or find a bit more of a direct approach, as it were.
I wonder if we even have anything she would find valuable enough to give up Eku. He seems quite interested in her.
Maybe our water jug. Is that our most wondrous thing that we've got? It would certainly increase our suffering not to have it. But I don't really want to trade that.
Sounds like she may be after something a bit more unique.
I thought she was asking, at one point, I thought she was asking for my eyeballs. So, whatever the price, it'll be steep and uncomfortable and long lasting.
Well, I think if we can't convince her to allow us to take Eku with us tomorrow, we may have to force the issue.
Yeah, because we're not leaving without Eku. That I'm completely against that idea. If we're
Yes,
leaving, it's with Eku. No other way.
yes, I'm not willing to leave anyone else behind. Certainly not her.
You think it's safe for us to camp near her place?
Well, I would certainly suggest keeping a watch.
You all already spent a night in the hut.
Oh, great. Well, how about we fast forward to tomorrow and see what happens?
Yeah, if you all are all finished, you do have a pretty seamless night with very little occurrences. And when you all are ready to kind of wake up, you'll see Nanny Pu'Pu already outside of her hut, kind of collecting some herbs, and she's once again kind of sat down in front of the door.
Good morning, Nanny Pu'Pu.
Good morning.
We're hoping to see Eku. How's she doing this morning? She awake?
Echo, how do you feel, dear? And from within the hut, you'll hear just, I still feel weak. Maybe just another day's rest.
And we'll call out Eku. Didn't you think we should maybe move on? We could go back to Port Nyansaru. You could rest there if you feel like it.
I may be too weak for the journey back to the port. It is so far and so long.
Eku, there was a time when you could fly yourself there and it would be nothing.
I think returning home has taken my form, taken my power.
Well, perhaps a bit of fresh air would do you good. I'm sure. And he would turn to Nanny. I'm sure you wouldn't mind if we took her out of the hut just for a bit, maybe a short walk around.
You'll hear kind of the two of them talking over each other, like at the same time, where Nanny Poo Poo just kind of says, I don't think she should see others if she does not feel healthy. And in that same kind of moment, you'll hear the words of Eku from within. I feel fresh enough in here. I don't know if my legs can bear my weight.
I'm willing to carry you, but I'm afraid I must insist on speaking with you
really shouldn't bother her. She needs her rest. The spell her parents wove is strong. It is breaking with time. This was our deal. Nanny Pu'Pu cares for your Eku, and you remove the Terrafolk. She's gonna hold up her hand with like the same cut on it.
I believe our deal was that you would heal her. She seems less than fully healed.
The power is stronger than I had thought. I told you it seemed mysterious when we made the deal. It's not my fault that you were quicker with the Terrafolk than I was healing your friend. My bargain continues. I heal, I care for Eku, and Nanny Pu'Pu does her job.
Yes, and she will be free to leave when she is up to it. Yes.
She is free to leave now, just not yet up to it.
The Jarek will he'll look back towards Taryn and Island, trying to get a sense of what they're making of this.
We got to get moving. Eku, can Taryn come in and see you? Wants to make sure you're okay.
I don't think anyone should be too close to me.
Do you think you have a disease? Perhaps I can help.
Maybe it may be something about this place. It's you got you got weaker when we came here. Perhaps your strength will return if we put some distance between ourselves and this place.
Carry you back down the stairs, perhaps?
You shouldn't upset her. She needs to recover, not to walk.
I'm sure she wouldn't be upset by us helping her out. And Taryn will start moving as if he's going inside the hut.
Nanny Pu'Pu is still gonna reach out an arm to kind of like block the door. Your friend is ill. You have asked me to care for her. I ask you to leave her. Let her heal. Let Aku heal. Let Mama Pu'Pu heal Aku.
You can heal her when I'm inside the hut. I won't be in the way. And yes, start walking around her.
This is a mistake.
Might be so, but I feel like I should be close to Echo. She's a friend. She shouldn't be alone if she's feeling unwell.
So you can walk inside, and Eku appears to be sleeping in the northwestern side of the hut. She's beneath a little gossamer blanket and has a little poultice on her forehead.
Uh, Aiden, would you have told me about how Echo looked before you were here last time? Or is this the first time I know that she's looking like this?
I think it's like what I described from when I gave you guys a download on what I saw.
Yeah, I don't think
Being
there's any reason that it would be surprising. I think it would be like this is the exact way Eileen saw her.
being a bit weirded out by that, he's Karen's gonna go and sit himself basically by the foot end of Eku's bed.
She doesn't seem to move or kind of respond to your presence. Are you just sitting there like near her or
At the moment, I'm just near her. I'm just going like, Eku, you awake?
she seemed tired? Perhaps she was falling asleep already. The sleep is good for her.
So is Nanny Pu'Pu inside with Charon and Echo? Are we all in there?
At this point, Nanny Pu'Pu is still at the door. Like, you guys are on this map. You can see if you guys would like to place yourselves, you're fine. But at present, she is trying to keep the others from going inside as well.
Charon, do you need help? Should I come in and take a look at her?
Oh, she seemed to be sleeping. So, but don't see why you shouldn't be able to come in. She doesn't seem to be waking up.
Maybe I should examine her.
If you want to, you're certainly more experienced than me when it comes to those things.
Nanny Pu'Pu, I want to take a look at my friend. Excuse me.
You all endanger her. You should let her sleep. She's gonna look to Jarek. Nanny Pu'Pu agreed to heal your friend.
As she says this, Jarek's going to kind of again, like almost like involuntarily, kind of look down at his hand and look back, and I mean, feels like he gets the sense that he will keep her bargain. He's trying to recall what the exact parameters of the deal were, and maybe he missed something, or um, but he's starting to doubt his initial thoughts of trying to essentially kind of like force their way in if they can't, and at the same time he realizes they can't stay here for forever hoping for her to recover, but um yeah, he's wavering. How
So
how
she's not stopping Island from going inside. She's trying to, but she's not like using force to stop you. So if you're going to basically use any level of kind of pushing past her, you walk right past her.
how long do you think it will take for her to recover? How long for our bargain to be through?
It is hard to tell how her health will take. Any time is soon. Perhaps much time is too long. She's just gonna look past as the other walks inside, and she just kind of sits at the entrance, no longer really trying to block it. This is all a mistake. Your friend's health is at risk.
Is there anything we can do to speed up her recovery? Any herbs you need, or materials, or
It's nothing that Nanny Pu'Pu is aware of. Powerful magics can be broken with powerful magic. Other magic can be broken with time. She will heal with time, and hopefully come through on the other side stronger.
And do you give me your word that no harm will come to her while she remains here?
She
I
holds
won't.
up her hand with the cut in it. We have already made our bargain. I am to heal her, take care of Eku. Nanny Pu'Pu heals and takes care of Eku for you. You remove the Terrafolk.
The Jarek will kind of take like a deep breath and kind of eventually give like kind of a slow nod, and he's not going to make any further approach towards the hut, but he might call in to Island and Taryn, like, how does she seem?
And I want to I kind of want to give her a medical examination.
Do a medicine check. As you look over her, she has vital signs. She's still weak. You can see signs of like the color kind of leaving her flesh. But all in all, she looks a lot like the day that she first fell on the stairs. Don't really see too many signs of her recovering, nor signs of her getting any worse.
And do you have any sense that my healing will help? I mean, I don't think I have any restoration that will help.
You could certainly try.
I'm going to respond to Jarek that I think she seems about the same as she was, weak, but she's breathing and she's got blood flow. She seems, unhurt, just exhausted.
Perhaps we should attend to some other business while we perhaps perhaps Nanny Poo is right. Perhaps a bit of time would be beneficial to her recovery.
I'm going to head back out and say thank you, Nanny Pu'Pu. It seems like she's stable, certainly. Thanks for letting us take a look. We're just eager for her to get better so we can depart. We have larger health concerns that we have to attend to for our master.
Larger concerns than Saveku.
We have the health of a great many people that we're concerned about, which makes time of the essence.
Would you? And she'll look to each of you, kind of staring deep into your eyes. Give up time to heal Eku.
No, because we already have a deal for you to heal Eku in exchange for the Terrafolk.
And great
How
magic can break great magic.
how much time?
And she'll kind of stand far quicker than you've seen her move before and approach to you and look into your eyes. How much time is a loved one worth? Our friendship is valuable to you.
It is.
You are young. You have much time. Give it to me. I can heal her far quicker.
I'd consider trading you a year of my life expectancy. What will it get me?
And she'll kind of snap her head to you. A year and years are different. You would give time to heal your friend.
Just gonna ask, can Taryn hear this from where he is?
Roll a perception check.
I certainly think you'd be trying to hear it.
Nope, too focused on Eku.
I think that's good enough because she was staring you in the eye in the same way, asking you to offer time. So I don't think, like, I feel like that's one of those you got to roll a 1 to fail. So I would say, unless you specifically want to be that enraptured by Eku, I think you understand that right now she's looking to make a bargain for time. And right now, you all might have an understanding. You can pay amount of time as one person, or you could pay an amount of time as 3 people. And 3 people have to pay less than one.
Then hearing this, Taryn would go up and put out his hand and go, 20 years, I can give that. No problem.
Let's go a
You
step back.
would give 20 years of your life. It is done. And she's going to place her hand on top of yours, and you're going to feel just a sharp amount of pain as you just feel a little bit more tired, and a little bit of time is going to flow away from you. And as she kind of like goes to release you, you're going to have just a small little like wrapped up package in your hand. And you'll all see as Eku stands up from behind.
Good. Don't really expect to live long anyway, so what's another 20 years less? Oh, then I'll go over to Eku.
She's just kind of wiping her brow. What? What has happened? Where are we?
Taryn would start telling her about the temple and everything that's happened, basically since she passed out or fell asleep.
Roll an insight for me, Taryn. As you describe the temple, you can like see kind of like almost like a purple glaze kind of in the back of her eye, and just like a shimmer of magic where the weave is just kind of trickling through, and you can just see that like the very mention of the temple, of her family, of Mbalan, doesn't even register with her. And she just kind of looks at you. We are where?
Should away from this place. Echo, I'm glad to see you looking better.
So as Eku kind of comes out, you'll see as Nanny Pu'Pu is kind of like stepping a little bit further and further away from you all, but she's still kind of nearby, and she'll kind of look over to Yarrick. Our agreement is fulfilled. Your friend is healed. And then she'll look to Taryn, and ours as well. And she's gonna disappear.
Let's get the hells out of this place.
And you're just going to see as the hut and everything is going to age as hundreds of years just start to flow over this place, and it's just going to kind of disintegrate to the ground before your eyes, and you just kind of see as like the gardens take over and the jungle kind of rises up to kind of swallow this area, and it resembles all the other ruins of Mambala right now. Was no. And Echo just kind of looks confused and just kind of like stumbles a little bit, but kind of like walks forward. And you all are going to hear just kind of like the crow of a bird. And then you're going to see one of those flying monkeys kind of comes by. And it's just going to kind of like rest on the ruins of the hut. And you're just going to hear a voice from its mouth. When you are in need, I will be here. Think of what joys. And then the little flying monkey's gonna fly off.
Well, that just happened.
How you feeling, Taryn?
A bit tired, I guess, but nothing to worry about. But if we don't have anything else to do here, I suggest we get as far away from this place as possible and never, ever speak about that old crone again. Holy hell, I do not want to see her ever again.
Oh, it was a brave thing you did.
So I for one as well, will certainly feel better when we're away from this place. Perhaps we should continue our search for Warren. Get down off this blasted plateau.
Sounds right. Bourne is to the northeast, and that temple is to the northwest, just to the west. What do you think?
Well, I think that we had the plan to look for Vorn after Mambala anyway, so I feel like we should get to that. See if we can actually find it or him.
Let's go. Eku, is there more for you to do here? We're sorry that your home is in ruins, but you have a home with us, certainly.
And you'll kind of get that same feeling where she doesn't really recognize what you're saying. I do feel at home with you.
Echo, do you know who we are? You remember?
We have been adventuring together. We, you brought me in to join you to find Omu.
And Drago kind of breathed a little sigh. He wasn't sure if maybe there was going to be. He was afraid of, I guess, maybe some lasting memory issues. So he'll kind of nod and then, um, but he would second Taryn in that we can maybe we should head north.
So, like, the overall feeling that I want you all to get from her right now is this idea that talking about Mumbala is like going right over her head. She doesn't hear it, she doesn't see it, she doesn't know about it. Everything else, she seems maybe a little bit hazy, but otherwise, like, all of those memories are still there.
Yeah, and I think Jarek at least is getting the sense that she even though she was like saying her urgency, there's some weird time is weird in this place, and who knows, you know, um, even though she's talked about checking on the people here, who knows how long ago that truly was.
Yeah, and I feel like you got a sense of it when we were actually on the stairs that you couldn't really gather whether she's been here never before or she's been here hundreds of time before. Like there wasn't a sense for you, but I feel like Jarek was the one who kind of picked up on that like she might come here to solve her problem, loses her memory, and eventually finds her way out. And she's almost back to square one where it's like, I need to get to Mbala.
Yeah, it could have been like an extended kind of Groundhog Day situation where she's been doing this for years and years, where she comes, leaves, forgets she ever was ever here, comes again, that sort of thing.
Exactly, yeah. So you all are preparing to leave Mumbala behind. Are you thinking about descending the cliffs the same way you came, up that kind of switchbacking mountainside?
That would be Jarek's idea, yeah, because I don't think we're aware of another. I mean, it's not that it's an easy trip down, but it's probably better than trying to scale the plateau. Unless we wanted to look for another way down, but
I gotcha. I feel like I don't have it in my notes right in front of me, but I feel like the plateau is pretty stupid high, so it's a pretty dangerous thing to go off of the cliffs. So I feel like that's like the logical thing.
and I feel like maybe Eku might have even mentioned like before we got here that that was like the one way up. Like there was like there's not another set of another trail on like another side or anything. Like the only kind of sort of way up is those switchbacks.
So I think if you all are prepared to start to leave, you can kind of go about exiting the way that you've come. And as you all start to actually descend the switchbacks, kind of like those last little shreds of her like haze are going to dissipate from Eku. As you reach the bottom, her step is kind of back to normal, and she doesn't appear to be kind of lacking in any of those kind of like um, physical remnants of whatever happened here. And by the bottom of the steps, you all are probably looking at like early afternoon. The sun is still essentially high in the sky, maybe about like 30 degrees past zenith. Is that the idea, going back into the jungle for Vorn?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the yeah.
Or do we want to try for just straight to Vorn? Or well, as straight as we can navigate it. Or try to go Camp Vengeance, then Vorn.
You mean like try and take a uh see what's because I feel like they were trying to prepare an expedition when we left, right? 'Cause they were going to send some people back to the port. So are you thinking like check in on them on the way?
But yeah, basically that, and just so we won't get lost. It's but yeah, we have Echo now, so it might be
Oh, you
difficult.
like you use it like a waypoint, kind of like we know it. We know our way back there, so kind
Yeah,
of
we would
go
know.
kind of.
I feel like we would know the general direction back to Camp Vengeance at least.
I don't know if we want to go back and deal with Breakbone. We don't have to. I mean,
It may be
we'll just
better to just head straight or
he tries to conscript us again.
All right then.
You all go ahead, Dan.
Just gonna go. All right then. Then straight to towards where we think Vorn is at least.
I gotcha. You all made a pretty solid argument to hold the breakbone on your side. Bringing up the death curse was among kind of like the key words to basically remove that threat.
and he seems like we got the sense he's a pretty honorable guy, so he's not gonna break his word um with us, I don't think.
Yeah, I think you all definitely have that idea behind him. Like, he was somebody out of their element who was like crumbling beneath stress. I mean, realistically, like in the weeds is the perfect way to describe it. That was a man in the weeds. But realistically, like, he's still a member of the Order of the Gauntlet, and what they do is good. Um, and again, when you all brought up the death curse, that was the very thing that just very much completely switched everything over for you into more of like that positive experience of like, all right, how can we mutually help each other here?
So Alan's going to pull out his map and thinking that the hypotenuse of a triangle is shorter than the two legs of a triangle. I think it might be like maybe a day less if we go directly to where Vorn is.
Well, Varric will defer to Island on that, be as the kind of navigator. So he's good. Yeah, he's good with trying to head directly.
It's all miserable jungle. It's not like there's a road anyway. We don't have a very exact destination, so I feel like we might wander around quite a lot.
So what are y'all thinking?
Okay, I vote straight for Vorn.
All right. Well, I think we're all three then for that. Eku, we're going to head straight to try to find Vorn and unlock his control. Do you remember us talking about Vorn ever?
Assuming that, yeah, we've spoken about Vorn, I think that will click perfectly fine with her. Again, it's only Mmbala that is like absent from her mind.
Gotcha. Because we haven't
She
found
she
the
like the
Vorn.
magic again that I was trying to describe. She cannot remember Mmbala. She
So,
cannot remember walking up those steps. Anything about that place is gone from her memory. And if you talk about it, it just glazes right over her.
so we haven't found Vorn's control amulet in our, in our wandering so far, but I suppose maybe we'll find it when we find Vorn, or at least some hints to where it might be.
So when you all are prepared to start venturing off, let me get a survival from Island and Jack.
Sorry, my mic cut out. Did you need my headphones cut out? Did you need a survival for me as well?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
So while you all head off into the marshlands and start to leave behind like the hills and the rocks of the plateau, you kind of follow yourselves tracking through this area, making sure to step in the same locations as one another. There's always certain amounts of kind of slipping and falling into the mud, but overall, like you make a good path out of the actual Aldani Basin and start to make your way back into the actual woods here. And at some point during the day, you all are going to hear the heavy sounds of footfalls kind of crossing in like 1 2 1 2, uh not really thinking it's small enough to be a human, but it seems almost rhythmic to where it's not a dinosaur. There's going to be a great bit of kind of like questioning before you all are going to see as these massive creatures kind of part the actual trees before you. And you see looking down above you, or down from above you, about 30 feet tall, there are uh, two gigantic humanoids, and they appear to have two wolves themselves, almost as large as either of you, or as any of you. And as they kind of like peek their heads into this clearing that they've made, they look to you and speaking in a odd language, recognizing that nobody's quite speaking it. They're going to kind of look to one another before Eku kind of responds in the same language. And then you'll hear them kind of turn to her, and Then they'll say in common, uh, you the ring of winter. And then as they kind of continue on, are you artists, the of the ring of winter? What are you all doing?
Jarek would call back up to them, kind of almost shouting, given the size differential. We are not, but we seek him as well.
Have you seen Artist Kimber?
We have not. Have you?
We are charged with recovering the stolen ring, such that we can leave this horrific place.
And who
Return.
employs you?
What are you saying, Alan?
Island folks, Jarek, and I was like, who's charged them with that? Like the Zentarum charged us with it. Who's charged them? But I'm saying it to him, not to them, because he's talking to them.
Was this ring stolen from you? Or have you been hired to recover it?
It belongs to the frost giants of Housebed. Any who would keep it from us will die for their transgression. You have the ring. And I need everybody to make persuasion checks.
Jarek's gonna seem like he's lying, even though he's not.
Stop looking so guilty, Jarek.
So just kind of like looking over everybody, they're going to see Jarek kind of shuddering. Why would you keep information from us? And it's just going to reach out its big hand that's like the size of your chest. And you're just going to see like melting icicles that are like between the nails. This creature's not meant to be here and it's suffering in this heat. And it just reaches out to you with its palm up. The rain.
I assure you, we do not have it, but I give you my word. If I find it, I will return it to you.
Make another persuasion check. We will search this entire land for artists. If you learn his whereabouts, you have magic.
I do not.
Kind of shakes his head in like a little bit of displeasure. Or you must find us on the East Coast.
If we find the ring, I will find you. My name is Jarek. What should we call you?
Ako. We are to the north of your Fort Cascliglia. Find the ship Avspad. The ring belongs to us. Artus must pay for his thievery.
Very well. Should we recover it? I will look for you, as you say. Where you say.
I'll kind of look over you all once more. And then with kind of like a click, you'll see as these massive dogs or the wolves like peel off and start heading in a different direction. And the giants just marching one after the other, with their footfalls kind of falling in line, start to move off, and it just sounds like a freight train going through the jungle.
And so as they're heading off, kind of more quietly to the others, Jarek could just be kind of like, those kinds of things are after this artist. I'm not sure I'd want to be him. Uh, Perhaps we should get moving before they decide they don't believe us after all.
Agreed. Good job talking to the frost giants. Did you catch what house they were from? Well, I didn't hear what they said. Ved?
Valspid.
Valspid. Anyway, between the Zentarum and the House Valspid. Frost giants. Artist is in deep trouble. I sort of understood he was he was undying, so maybe it's easier for him.
Not to be a downer, but undying doesn't mean you can't be hurt. This feels like that would be less of a positive thing if they ever catch him.
Well put.
So you all are nearing kind of the dusk of day, you can put in a little bit more time towards Vorn. Otherwise, you all can kind of sit down for the night's rest.
What kind of progress do you think we're making a day?
You probably have like 2 to 3 days in the jungle to get towards Vorn.
Got it.
Yeah, I think once night falls at this point, I'm not sure we'd want to press on too far. So Jarek would be ready to make camp, and he'll offer to take the first watch again once when we do.
Gotcha. So when you are ready, let me get some perceptions from you.
Want me to roll them both twice, or wait and roll the second after?
Your first watch is gonna go by pretty seamlessly. There's gonna be a crazy downpour of rain that kind of just lulls you to sleep a little bit, but you'll kind of shudder to yourself. Go for another one. And the second one is just gonna be a little bit more hesitant to let yourself be lulled to sleep, but otherwise nothing seems to be going on. The rain still kind of keeps up, and you can wake up who you'd like to.
And in keeping with the same order, I think. So he would wake up Island for the second watch.
All right, I need a break for this one.
That was an ominous cackle.
Yeah, that's
Well,
not promising.
there's no reason not to reveal it to you, but there's literally a 1 in 100 chance at any time that you can meet artist Kimber, and you guys are about to. I just need to make sure that I'm ready to role play him.
All right, yeah, I'm good with another break here.
Maybe I'm happy about that poor perception roll. Probably not.
I just love that we literally just talked about him, and here he is.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Yeah, I mean the frost giants I think are like a 1 in 100 as well. I think the Zentarum are probably roughly around that same thing. So the fact that you all have encountered those multiple aspects, it's definitely rather funny.
Did I lose you guys?
Nope, I'm still here.
Cool.
I'm also here still.
What time is it, Chris?
Like 10 minutes till midnight.
I feel like it's an. Do you have daylight savings time over there? Is that a thing?
Yeah, we're on winter time right now. Like,
So I guess it's the same amount of time difference, right?
yeah, it should be. You're
Yeah, I
also
think
on.
the biggest thing is that our weeks don't always line up. When you guys go on to it, I think is different than when we go on.
Yeah, I think we go on like a week before you do.
Yeah,
Some.
I felt like I think it was a week for you. I think it was a week for my one of my players who's in England, but I think it was like 2 weeks for somebody who was in Germany, which is what really psyched us out because I feel like last year Jan like went on to daylight savings before everybody else did.
I just feel like that would be awesome. Because we're on like on the same time zone as Germany. So if they go 2 weeks early, then they're 1 week earlier than us. That's cool. Oh god.
Yeah, I can't remember for sure because right now Jan's in like study abroad in Thailand, so we didn't do it again this year. But I felt like last year it was absolute hell to schedule the sessions because I wasn't prepared to like tell everybody, "Hey, confirm on roll 20" because that actually knows what time zone you're in.
And then, of course, here in the states, we've got certain states and counties that don't recognize it. So that always, I think it's
Oh
Arizona
yeah,
and
my Wednesday game is a Curse of Strahd, and most people are from Texas, and I don't think they actually had it. So I'm pretty sure, like after agreeing on a time, I've like switched the time on them, and I don't know if anybody felt like telling me, but it was definitely very confusing.
yeah, I'd be all right if they just scrapped the whole thing or just made it always on or whatever they are thinking of doing. But every year they say, there's people saying, yeah, they should just do that, and it never happens. So
Yeah, I feel like it's a relic of back like when trains were running and shit. Like for farmers and for trains, we had all that.
yeah, I feel like it probably had something to do with like the harvest or yeah, farming or something. And but I feel like now they done studies and it's actually like it actually causes more issues than you would think with like the just 1 hour, but it like there's more like car accidents and there's more um all sorts of bad things because of that kind of lost hour either. I guess more of the case when we lose the hour than when we get one extra. But
Yeah, I feel like I've come across those thoughts on like the car accidents and like people being exhausted while they're kind of switching over to it.
yeah, yeah.
All right, I think for what it's worth, we are going to pick up here on Islands, I think second watch, first watch. And while you are on watch, you're just going to start to smell um, violets kind of flowing through the air, just like you're in just a big field of flowers. And after a few moments, you're just going to see as a lizard like humanoid is going to kind of step out into the little clearing where you all have your fire and just kind of looking at you. He's got like a big, like fluffy cloak on with like animal furs around his neck and kind of like looks up at you, and you hear like a couple of clicks. And this creature kind of like tilts its head after a moment. It clicks like back towards the woods, and you're going to see as another person kind of steps out. And this seems to be just a dark haired human who's wearing like green leathers and kind of like a blue and like gold kind of trim to some of his clothing. And he'll look over to you and, "Good evening, friend. Might we share your campfire with you?"
Well met. Uh, Perhaps. What are your intentions?
We were looking for a place to camp, and my friend here sensed you a little closer than we had expected. He decided to come look it over and see that there are folk here. It seemed interesting, and I was hoping that we might be able to share the fire, perhaps weather this night together.
Well, yeah, come and sit by the fire. Try not to wake my friends. Tell me about your friend, though. I don't don't know that I've met one such as this.
There are very few of his kind remaining. This is, Dragonbait is the closest I can come to his name. He's a Sorai, very similar to other lizard folk, but their kind are a little more friendly, and for it's nearly extinct. He has been a kind companion and a welcome ally in my trips through this jungle.
Welcome, Dragonbait. I'm Island. I'd love to know more about your culture. That's what I study. That's what I do.
As he kind of like reaches out his hand to shake yours, you're going to just smell like lemon kind of perfuming through the air. He's happy to meet you.
Oh, does he express his feelings through smells or pheromones?
It's definitely something that they do. I've not figured out whether he can hold it back or not. But yes, you can often understand what sort of things on his mind by what's on your nose.
And how does it smell when he's angry or scared?
Baked bread and violets.
Understood. And your name?
You can call me Artie.
Well met, Artie.
What brings you all deep into the jungle here? There's very little signs of humans in this area.
Well, we had to bring our companion to Mambala. Have you been to Mambala?
I believe I've heard of the ruins of Mabala Plateau, day or so south of here.
That's right.
I understand they were uh, a great civilization in their time. Does your friend have ties there?
Well, she did, but there's no one there now. The Terrafolk have destroyed everything and taken all the people away.
Curious. I've often hunt only around their homes. To have been the destruction of Mambala seems far-fetched. Are you heading back to civilization then?
Yes, that's our hope. Will you be in Port Naranzayu? Is that a destination for you?
I have no place for myself in such areas.
Is there another safe place here in the jungle? Where can you call home if not there?
Dragonbait and I are searching for my wife. It may be some time till I find a place that I can call home.
Well, tell me about your wife. Perhaps we can help, or if we come across her, we can contact you.
Perhaps another time. I feel perhaps now is a good time to rest. You are keeping watch over your friends. Might I
Indeed.
feel safe beneath your eye?
Certainly. Friend, you're welcome to join us, and perhaps we can, I was going to say break bread in the morning, but instead, perhaps we'll just find some way to eat in the morning and break our fast together, and you can meet all my companions.
That would be good. And you're just gonna see as he kind of like takes his cloak from behind him and kind of like pulls it over his chest a little bit, and he's gonna turn, and you'll see his dragon baits kind of just sitting there, like still kind of sat up more vertically, and kind of like looks over towards Artie, and you hear a few clicks, and Artis is just gonna respond. You can stay up if you'd like, but we should sleep now and can help these folk watch when it's our time. And then he'll kind of like roll over, like just enough to get his head to be able to look at you one more time, and he'll say, if you need me, wake me. I would be obliged to accept your watch and offer my own.
No,
But,
thank you.
and just in an instant, he's just going to start snoring as he passes out.
What kind of weapons does he have? Can I see? Can I examine him and try to understand anything about him while we're sitting opposite on the fire?
You can roll another perception check. You can see that he carries a longbow, and it's just kind of like set right beside him. And inside of a sheath, he has a longsword. But other than that, like he's just kind of carrying those two basic weapons. He's got a large quiver of arrows, but seems otherwise just kind of like a ranger.
Great. Well, I'm going to pretend this isn't really strange. Keep an eye on him and the jungle until it's time to wake Taryn and try to explain this decision that I've made.
Gotcha. So when you're ready, do another perception check for me. So you my bad, I need my cheat sheet for dragon bait. So you spend like the next hour just trying to keep like watch over them and trying to keep an ear out to the jungle. But there's a very like deep scent of honeysuckle that's just kind of like floating around camp. And by this point, you're pretty sure it's dragon bait. And it's a sweeter scent. It might be good, it might be bad. You don't know what to make of honeysuckle. But dragon bait seems to be kind of keeping an eye and keeping up as well, and nothing really ends up happening over the next hour or so. And eventually you feel it's time to wake Taryn.
So I'm going to wake Taryn and indicate we have guests that I invited into the camp to sleep by the fire. And that guy's name is Artie. Seems familiar. That's dragon bait. If it smells like lemons, it's good. If it smells like bread, it's bad. Dragon bait. Meet Taryn. He's going to be up for the next bit. Get
He's
along
just
great.
gonna You're just gonna hear a few clicks, and then he's gonna reach out his arm, and it's gonna smell like lemons.
Maybe you guys want to have a snack or something. But I'm gonna go to sleep. All right, Taryn, you good?
Tara will be like very rubbing the sleep out of his eyes, but yeah, good. I think.
We'll s- we'll share a look of surprise because I'm a little surprised too. And yeah, I'm gonna go try to get the rest of my rest in.
So dragon bait is probably 4 times your size, Taryn. Um, you weigh 40 pounds. He weighs about 150. And he's just kind of like reaching over to you to like shake your hand to say hello. And it just looks like a big lizard that's wearing clothing. He's got, I think, a long sword on him himself. Um, Otherwise, just seems to be like kind of a light green color, and he smells of fresh lemons.
Tara will reach up his hand, and shake them. Dragon bait. Right. Well, I'm
And
tired.
you just hear a few clicks.
All right then. Shuffle over and sit themselves down to keep watch.
So when you are ready, you can roll some perception checks. Yeah, I think the next hour is gonna go by pretty seamlessly on watch. There's still a little bit of rain kind of flowing down from above, but overall, you all have a nice little camp here. You've got a nice little friend who's keeping watch with you. Everything seems pretty legit, and you just kind of keep your eyes half peeled and your ears trying to listen out for anything new. And it seems good. So when you are ready, do another perception check.
Oh, I think it did two. Yeah, right. I did.
Okay, I got you. As you are resting at this point, you're going to start to smell ham, and by the time that sense is kind of overtaking you, dragon bait is going to be kind of standing over you, kind of shaking your shoulder, and kind of like clicking like real quickly, and kind of looking off towards the side of the camp. And as the two of you kind of hear this same sound, as it just sounds like the creaking of trees, and like the sound of like the groan of wood. And as you all kind of like take a moment, he's going to look to the others, kind of like nodding his head towards your friends, and he's going to go for Artis and starts to shake him. And you're going to see as the two of them start to ready themselves, and as Artis kind of like comes to, Vines, we have to be prepared. The jungle.
Well, say that. Taran is gonna go for Jarek, shake him awake while at the same time calling for Aiden like, Aiden, wake up! Danger afoot.
All right. That was quick.
Yeah, so Jaren will, or Jarek presumably will, um, he'd wake up at Taryn's kind of shaking, and he'd similarly kind of groggy at first and sit up. What's going on? And then he'd kind of maybe spot Dragon Bait and Artis out of the like, who are they? What?
Um, Darren will just be like, "Don't worry about those. Those they're friendly enough, at least. There seems to be something else attacking us. They said something about vines, so be ready."
And Jarek will he'll nod and he'll move to stand up um and getting ready.
So let's see. I feel like we need an island. Taryn, roll a d8 for me. All right. So as you all are coming to, uh, Artis is going to be pointing towards the north. The vines. Watch the north. And let's have everybody roll initiative here. All right, so as you all get this strong whiff of ham, Dragonbait is going to run up beside Jarek, and at the edge of this little clearing, just kind of stand at attention for a moment. And as he kind of looks around, he's going to just draw his sword back, just in preparation and waiting. And it will go to Island.
Um, Alan's going to step up behind Jarek, see if he can see anything better.
At present, you all are just kind of staring into this, just like jungle wall, and nothing of it really shines to you.
I'm going to hold an action, and if these vines appear, cast Guiding Bolt at first level.
Gotcha. So from the east, you're going to see as part of the canopy just like stretches out, and you can cast your guiding bolt.
So, is that it?
It does indeed. It will smack into this creature and seems to recoil as there's just a burst of vines. Oh, can't do this while holding Alt. I need a strength saving throw from Jarek and Island. Alrighty, so the vines are going to start to grasp into Artis and kind of start to pull him down to the ground. The two of you are. Island as well is going to be restrained. Jarek, you are able to keep free of the vines and kind of break them as they start to wrap around you, freeing yourself as they start to attach to you. And it's going to go to Terran.
Taryn is gonna take out his bow and fire off an arrow at the walking shrubbery.
That's all lit up.
Yep, this one's at advantage.
That's a good
That
thing.
will hit, doing the 14.
And just move right there. And that's it for me.
And then Jarek, you're going to be up next.
Okay, so Jarek would have he would have given a little bit of like kind of a side eye glance towards Dragonbait as he ran up, but seeing him kind of drawing his blade and readying himself, Jarek would have been doing the same thing, and then kind of breaking free of these vines with his scimitar drawn. He would charge up towards this clump of vines and start hacking at it with his scimitar.
First one's a hit.
I don't know. I didn't want to assume I would have had time to draw my both weapons on before the first turn. So
As far as I'm concerned, you had time to draw one beforehand, so you can definitely draw a second for your free action here.
okay. So then, yeah, stabbing at it with my short sword.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like, as long as you're not surprised, when I'm like telegraphing battle, I feel like you all should be drawing weapons at that point, kind of thing. The
Okay.
second attack is going to just kind of be like stabbing into this thing, but you're just like stabbing into nothingness. It's like a pile of vines, and you just feel like your short sword's like just going into nothingness. Um, it is effectively a miss, though.
Yeah. Um, and seeing these vines kind of wrapping around two of my fellows, I'm going to, with an action surge, slash at it again with my scimitar. I'm sorry, I can't remember if it's one extra attack, so I can attack with both weapons, or just one extra. I guess it's an action, so just
Just
one
one
attack.
extra attack. Yeah, it's an extra action, but you don't have your second attack per action. The short sword is still a bonus action.
Right. Once I get multi attack or extra attack or whatever it's called. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. You told me that before. I just forgot. So that's my turn.
Let's see. Another of these creatures is going to start to lash out with its vines, and it's going to try to grab onto dragon bait. So it's going to like grab onto him, and you're going to start to see as it starts to kind of like crush him in its grasps, and he's going to be grappled by the vine. And then you're going to see as the stranger is going to try to struggle to break himself free. And he's just going to start to like stretch the vines as they crush back down on him. And another one is going to move forward, and it is going to should have rolled. Yeah, it's going to lash out at Island. Doesn't even have to move. You're just going to see his vines kind of leap out at Island. It should hit with a 19 as you are restrained. It has advantage. And it's going to choke down on you with its vines, dealing 10 bludgeoning damage as you're just kind of like crushed in on yourself.
Got it.
And as Dragonbait starts his turn, you're going to see as the vines just crush into his body and like sap is just gooing from them, and it just like oozes all over his flesh, and you see as it starts to burn.
Whose flesh is burning?
Dragonbait. And then he's going to do the same, trying to break himself free. And he will be stuck inside of this creature as well. So it's going to go to you, Island. At the start of your turn, you're going to take 22 poison damage as the creature kind of bleeds into you.
Okay, I'm down.
One of the vines is going to, the one north of Jarek, is going to lash out at Terran. 10 should be a big old miss as its vines just try to grasp onto you, and you're able to keep yourself moving and out of its grasp. It's going to go to you, Terran. You see the creature that is like lashing out at you, the two off to the west that are lashing out at the rest of your party, and Island, who is down right
Well, Terran is gonna drop his bow, pull out his short sword, and go up towards the one by Yarrick. That's the most I can do. I don't know why I keep going for the short sword. It's obviously not working.
Statistically speaking, it shouldn't be possible. As you stab in, you like just barely miss this creature. Just a little bit more on target, and you would have had a hit. But you will miss it there. Any bonus actions?
Yeah, I'm gonna bonus action disengage and just move back a little bit. Yeah, I moved 5, 10, 15, so back there.
Gotcha. And then it's going to go to Jarek.
Am I able to get any sense of this creature in front of me if it seems uh hurt or diminished in any significant sense?
Visually, no, not at this point. If you wanted to basically use an action to do a like medicine check, that's a different story.
No. I'm not gonna use my action for that. Seeing Island going down and thinking I'm not gonna be able to uh put this thing down before he can finish him off. I'm going to break away and move back in to try to rip Island free. And see if I can drag him out of these vines if I'm able to break him out or cut away the
So
vine.
you can do an athletics check.
And I might go ahead and be inspired for this one. I don't want to lose anybody else. I think that should be enough.
Yep, you are perfectly free to break him free. I think you've moved
Uh,
3 to get there.
I think it's only 2, but is this difficult terrain? I'm
It is
assuming.
difficult terrain, yeah.
Yeah, so it'd
So
be
really,
15 feet, right? Right next to this thing before. I was there, so it would be like I think 5 and then 15 to get in here, right?
yeah. I'm just trying to think what the best direction is actually to pull him out of there because I feel like it might be to actually drag him to the west. Because it's basically dragging him it's 20 feet to move him once if you're inside of it. Um, I think at present you're actually going to have to deal with the fact that you've got him free, um, not necessarily be able to get him out.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I don't know if there's a way for you to get out of there and do anything. I think it's all of your movement to get like south of Dragon Bait.
Yeah, because it would be. I mean, I think I could get here, but that's all the rest of my movement. I've
Yeah,
already
that's what I
action
mean.
surged. Um, and so I can't. I probably blew that action surge too early, but
So that's, I mean, it's still solid. It's a start, and he's not going to take the poison damage next turn as we busted all the vines off him, which is huge.
yeah, I have a question about. So one of my maneuvers is rally which allows the granting of temporary hit dice, but I don't know if that works if they're already unconscious. Like I feel like they have to have one hit point already
That's
before that.
correct. Temporary hit points do not bring people up from unconsciousness.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to double check. Yeah, so in that case, that's my turn. That's all I can do for now.
Thanks, man.
So as you start to pull and get all of the vines off of him, oh, I don't have this color. Another of these creatures is going to start to grasp up from the earth below you and Dragonbait, and make another strength saving throw for me, Jarek.
All right, I may have to use inspiration on this one too, because I feel like if we all get trapped, that's going to be real bad.
So what do you think the DC is?
Yeah, I think I can turn that into a 15 if I use everything. Yeah, I gotta try it. I'm gonna go ahead and use my inspiration up.
All right, yep, you bust free of them and you keep them from being able to grasp on.
Whew, all right.
Nice.
So Artis, while he's being pulled down by the vines and sees Island thrown down into the ground unconscious, is going to take off the glove from his right hand. And as he reaches out in front of him, he's just going to blast a cone of ice that starts to freeze the creatures to the north of him. And each of these vines is just going to start to like shrivel under the cold. And you see as like the vines, like the water inside of them, just kind of explode as they crack and explode. Oh, that was too few. So so the one like kind of central is going to get blasted back the least, but still taking a significant amount of damage. Nothing that like really shows on like the bulk of the vines, but it is going to kind of damage all of the vines in the process. And then the other one is going to um, be just kind of on the verge of being destroyed at this point. Most of its vines have crumbled beneath the cold.
Is that the green one?
Yeah. And then it's gonna go to last of the vines. I think it's going to grasp out at dragon bait. He's restrained. It will kind of grasp into him with its vines and start to like stab into his flesh. And you just see dragon bait is kind of like circled on all sides as these vines are starting to envelop him. As they're just like oozing poison into his flesh, you're going to start to see as like he's actually seeping and the strength is kind of like starting to wane from him. And it's going to go to Eileen, I believe, for a death saving throw.
That's right. It's my turn.
Another of the vines is going to kind of move a little bit closer as it's going to reach out towards Jarek. And it should hit as it grapples you. And it's going to do 9 bludgeoning damage as it starts to crunch down on you.
Okay, got it. Did it restrain me or just the bludgeoning damage?
That grapples and then it restrains you. And then that's the one, like at the start of your turn, you're going to take more damage from it. It's going to go to you, Taryn. The one to the north of you is severely snappy. The other two look relatively fine, though the 2 eastern ones are currently kind of like frosted.
Well, Terran's gonna pull out a dagger in his free hand and go up towards the severely sappy one. That's and let's see if I can make the short sword work.
Solid hit.
And then for bonus action, I'm gonna swing my dagger at it. Well,
And then, Jack, as your turn starts, you're going to take 22 poison damage.
All right. Well, first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and second wind with my bonus action. Ugh. Um, and I guess I got to use my action to try to break free. So is that
Athletics. And you are able to break free of it on that one.
all right? And then I'm going to and move out of this zone, kind of looking towards island, but um, can't reach him this turn. And it was the action. I use my bonus. Yeah, that's all I can do on this turn.
So this one's going to release all of the vines from on Dragon Bait, and it's going to try to extend out its vines over towards Artis. Has advantage because he is restrained, and it's going to miss as it tries to bite into his armor, and its vines are just kind of like falling off of this armor, and it's not able to grasp into him. I think on this one he's gonna try to break free. Big ol' fail. The next of these, this one just tried to grapple Yarrick. Um, so it's gonna move for Artis. And again, this one's going to reach out at Jarek and breaths down on you again and kind of pull you back down to the ground with the vines. I have a feeling this isn't going to be enough. It's going to do 7 damage now, but you're going to take 66 at the start of your turn.
Well, the 7 knocks me unconscious.
Gotcha. Dragon bait. Dragon bait from in front of this vine that stands before him is going to struggle to get his sword free, and as he reaches out at this creature, is going to start to swipe at it with one of the most brilliant and beautiful swords that anybody who is not in this situation right now might ever see. And first attack at disadvantage. First attack is at disadvantage. He is going to do Um, 13 slashing, and you just see as oh wait, it's only if it's fiend or an undead. Never mind. So 13 points of slashing as he cuts across this creature. And then he's going to slash at it again with his sword, and this time he's going to come up short. And it's going to go to Island.
Okay.
Roll a D100 for me, Larry.
What's that one for?
Oh, just the thought to see if you guys have more of your party available right now.
That's right. I got one more roll. How bad could it be? Plus, you guys have a lot of capacity.
So I think this one is grasped onto. I think it had artists. No, wait, it failed. That one's not grasping anybody right now. These things running away is hilarious. So you're gonna see as the vine starts to roll away from you, Taryn, and you have a chance to stab at it. That is a hit, and that is enough to kill it. As the vine starts to roll away from you, it's just enough that you cut one vine, and it was the central core of this thing, the root that everything was growing from, and you see as the last bit of momentum from this thing just starts to fall away from you. And then it's gonna go to you, Taryn.
I'm gonna run up to the one by Dragon Bait. See, try to attack that one. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Solid strike. I think that's gonna leave this one bloodied, actually, or sappy.
Sappy. Yeah. And then bonus action, the dagger. See if I can do anything with that.
That one's gonna come up short as you just kind of stab into the free space between. So here it will be a roll a death saving throw, Jack.
Ouch. Feel you, brother.
Yeah, if that thing's still grasping me, I think I might be that might be it for Jarek.
You're going to take the poison damage, but it's not a crit because that's automatic damage. It's not an attack. Um, so you will lose another death saving throw there, though.
Okay.
We have 4 minutes to find out how it all turns out. Amazing timing.
I wanted to get to your island, just didn't work out.
You admit it. You tried hard, and I appreciate it. We're just to see what Artie can do with his His frost ring.
The two of them getting grappled has been a pain in the ass. Not that I want them to win this for you, but
Well, I mean,
They might
not
have
to
at this
underestimate
point.
Taryn's skills, but Taryn might need some help.
What do you mean? You don't think Taryn can take the rest of them
No.
on by himself?
I believe in you, Taryn. I really do, but you know, there's like 90 hit points to go or something.
I just feel like if they ever attack me and I get grappled, the poison damage, I'm automatically down, it seems, because they haven't done less than 20 so far.
You might need to run.
I think Artis is going to extend his hand once more. And this time, as he calls out the name Alessandra, he's going to raise his hand, struggling against the vines, and bring up a wall of ice that cuts between the group. I think, though, that this may. No, I think that's the way to do it. I think he's going to slash across him right like that. So as he calls on Alessandra, raises his hand, he's going to rise this wall of ice that just kind of stabs up in just like upturned icicles, like little stalagmites. And he's just going to save your friends. And then you're going to hear a couple of clicks from him. And it's going to go to one of the vines. It's just going to start to like move around the ice. Dragon bait is going to break free. That one's definitely not there. This one's not there. It's no longer difficult. And Dragon Bait is going to rush around to the edge of the wall. And then it's going to go to Island. Bam, standing up.
Oh yeah, a natural 20 is a automatic recovery.
Yep, you have. Well, I mean, you're not technically standing up, but you have 1 hit point right now. So as you kind of come back to consciousness, you're watching as like this wall of ice is kind of smashing through to the north of you, and looking around, Dragonbait is bloodied. You see that Jarek below you is unconscious, and most of the vines are at least cut off at this point. Um, and you see Terran up at the top, kind of like stabbing into like a frozen husk of a vine.
And do I still have a bonus action?
Oh, you've got your whole turn. You'll technically take half of your movement to stand up, but that 20 is at the start of your turn that you just have 1 hit point.
Okay. I'm gonna heal Jarek. With my action.
Thank you very much.
I think I'm going to heal him some more with my bonus action.
You won't be able to cast that though.
Oh, that's right. Okay, can't do that. Cantrip. Yeah, you're up, and I think I have a little bit, 5 more feet of movement. I'm gonna move away.
That 20 was clutch.
Yeah, I didn't have a lot of hope in that happening, but it did. It's exciting.
Yeah. I think we were both at 2 death fails and no successes.
Yeah,
That's
that
right.
was.
On to you, Terran. You've got a wall of ice blocking you from the other side of these creatures. You can move around it, but you don't have your bow with you. Or you can obviously you could run to the bottom and use your bonus to get to the other creature, like with a dash.
Yeah, I could just cunning action dash over to basically where I saw Dragonbait run. Just follow him. So I'm gonna get like over there and try to stab at this thing.
So, do you actually need to use your bonus action though?
Oh right, I do. So no dagger. I forgot about that. That's the
Yeah, I got you. So yeah, the short sword will still land. You'll still do 14 more. As you cut into this creature, it's definitely pretty severely wounded at this point, but it's still effectively in that sappy phase. And Jarek, you are on the ground.
Yeah, so Jarek's going to stand up, kind of seeing Terran run past, but he can't reach them. So uh, he's going to kind of turning towards Island. He's going to like give him some grateful words for saving his life, and he's going to. I will use my bonus action to rally to give Island some temp HP. So it'd just be 4, but so just 4 temporary hit points,
Thank you.
and then I will uh, move to pick up my weapons that I dropped when I went unconscious, and that I think would take my action to pick up both of them. So that's my turn.
Gotcha. Any other movement from you?
Oh yeah, so I will with the last start moving this way, but that's as far as I can get. I actually think moved one too many. Yeah, 15 now.
So Artis is going to stand too, and as he kind of like runs past the wall, you're going to see as he draws his bow, and he's going to release 3 arrows into this creature. Two of them are going to hit, and he's gonna do 7 damage. That puts the creature at severely sappy at this point. And it's going to again lash out at Dragonbait. And it will miss as it just starts to like stab into his armor. And Dragonbait attacking at it with his sword. Both of those will hit. And that's going to be enough that Dragonbait just slashes at it with this brilliant white sword. And as the creature kind of falls, y'all are going to stop smelling ham and start to smell, I believe, honeysuckle. Yep, so he's gonna like look over towards Terran, see everything's fine with Terran, and as the smell of honeysuckle kind of pervades camp here, one after another, he's gonna kind of like look towards all of you, seeing that everybody is still standing. And I think that's where we're gonna pick up next week with you all waking up with Marty and Dragonbait.